but we've talked about FSU not being able to push through adversity, and this is the first time that we've seen it, especially in a rivalry game. I was thinking this was 2018 all over again, whatever, when they were up 27-7. I'm like, oh, here we go. I agree, Rob. This shirt is a one only couture. I'm starting the wagering at $2,000.
How about the first person that sends us some money gets it?
Yeah. So, but that this team is not great, and we're not going to say they're great, but I think they're now they have a really good chance of making a bowl game now with what you see what's left on the schedule.
I mean, did Florida just give up 52 points to Samford?
42 in the first half. 42 in the first half, man.
Wow. Can we somehow get Mullen and Diaz to both stay next year? Can that happen? Can that happen? Those big plays, Nate. That's really this rivalry. What it's always been about is those big plays, and those huge momentum shifts. And I said it the entire game. I'm like, especially once ever, even before Miami got that momentum, I'm like, we need to close this out. We need another score. Because if Miami's eventually going to make a play, and once they make a play, they're going to get that momentum. We have to find a way to put our foot on their necks and end it. We didn't do it. They made that play, and they got the momentum, and all of a sudden it was all Miami. And really that fumble was the pivot. We fumbled, and then they got the lucky
that Karam
touchdown. Come on, man! Seriously, come on. Because we haven't stopped, and then that, and it's just those momentum swings are tough. And like Miami, they even from the 80s, Miami's always thrived on that energy, that swagger. That's what Miami is. So it's like you have to do something to take that away. And, we finally eventually took it away, and not by even just like a big, huge play. I mean, I guess the Douglas play was the big one, but we got that Douglas play, and then we were able to get the field goal. And then, it's just once we were able to flip that, then it was all Florida State from there, and Miami had no answer. And that's how this thing has always been. It's always been huge swings in this
Mullen
series.
Mullen got an extension before or in the summer. But, that is heading in the wrong direction very quickly.
Yeah, Florida doesn't care about that extension. Miami, it might make a difference because
they don't have the money.
Broke. They don't have the money, but Florida does not care about that extension. They will fire Norvell and pay whatever. Man.
What up, varsity?
Look at varsity.
Look at varsity up in here. Yeah, that fumble and then that Karam on that lucky play. Those are backbreakers. When typically this is a team that you see FSU would pack it in, and I thought it was happening.
Yeah, we did. We said, I think I even sent it to varsity via Facebook Messenger. I was like, yeah, we're done. It's something we've seen from 17, 18, 19, last year, 2020, that would always be the case. We have seen it start to shift this year. We saw when UNC started to make a little bit of a run. Okay, we're going to pack it in. Nope, boom. We closed that off real quick. I wish we had done it a little bit quicker in this game, but Notre Dame, we thought they were about to start taking it away, and boom, Milton came in, a little bit of magic, and we end up losing overtime. So we've seen a little bit more fight in this team. This team does not quit. It doesn't quit like in years past to where it's just something happens and like, oh well, okay, they're going for it. They got it, and they just quit. And this team doesn't do that. And I think a lot of that has to do with not just Norvell, but some of the people he's brought in, the Johnson and the Robinson and the Keir Thomas and the Milton. those guys have flipped the culture and the mindset of this team, and it is a different team now. We just
let me ask you this, Steve.
Yeah.
Is it crazy to say that this game, locked in Johnson as an All-American?
I don't see why not. I mean,
I definitely think he's the ACC Defensive Player of the Year.
He's going to be. I'd have to look to see what other people did, but he'll definitely be in the running. Definitely be All ACC. Definitely be in the running for ACC Player of the Year. Definitely be in the running to be an All American. He was dominant.
He's made some money, man.
He did. He did. That's a big time game. He did that. So it'll be. I like to see before I really fully say that. I like to see how he finishes up against BC and Florida. Mm-hmm. But if he's played like he has all year in those two games, I don't see. I think he'll at least make some All-American teams. I don't know if he'll be consensus All-American, but he'll make some All-American teams.
I know, man. I especially with the way that he's made a ton of impact.
Yeah.
Throughout the season, it's not just the sacks. It's 11 tackles in one game. It's the forced fumble, returning it for a touchdown. He's making plays every game. So, I think he's probably locked himself in for, maybe not unanimous All-American, but he's locked himself in for, one or two teams. And that's going to bode well for FSU in this portal as we, head into the offseason. As it's proof of concept that you can come in and elevate your draft stock and play on a big stage and be able to develop in a short amount of time.
Okay, since you brought that up, let's get to the recruiting and stuff like that, because it was a huge recruiting weekend. Buku 5 stars, transfers 4 stars from 2022, 23, 24, and I think we both agreed that like a win was like the most, like not the most important thing, but an important thing. Like it would go a long way. Personally, I thought like if we had a good game. And maybe we still lost, we lost because we just didn't have the talent. And that was obvious, that there's just a talent disadvantage. But we fought and it kept it close, and we had a chance, but we just didn't have the playmakers. I thought that would go a long way as well. Mm-hmm. I think we almost had the best of both worlds because we fought hard enough to where even despite the talent disadvantages, we were still able to win. And if I'm Hunter and McCall and, if Coleman saw it on TV, I know he's at Oregon this weekend, and some of these other receivers and, Barnes was there and stuff like that. And, some of these other guys, and some of like the tackles that were there and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. If I'm them and I see this and I'm like, man, if Florida State had a little bit more talent, they blow Miami out tonight.
We really do. Big time. We're talking big like time. 42-14.
And so if I'm a recruit and I'm seeing that and I'm like, man, this is what they got going on, and they're lacking talent and playmakers specifically.
What up, bro?
That could be, I think it might be a very, very good weekend. I think we might see a lot of progress out of that, and like on the defensive side of things, like Marvin Jones Jr., and he sees what Johnson is doing. Like, I can come in and do that in this defense. Sign me up.